Hi there, my name is Alexandru, but you can call me Alex, and today we're going over an exhaustion system. First, we're gonna jump into Wwise to see how that is set up there, and then we'll see how it's implemented in actual game in Unity. I have a video covering this game that I made to become a better sound designer, so be sure to also check that out. There are multiple ways to go about an exhaustion system, and the most important thing that you have to have in mind is that the breathing has a rhythm, and if you break that rhythm, it will sound really bad. There is actually a video, I think, on the Wwise Audio Kinetics channel. I'm gonna link that in the description below, about the breathing system that was done in Inside. The guy talking is the actual audio programmer from Inside, so that is really fantastic content. But we're not going to do something complicated like that because I don't even know how to do that. So the setup that I'm going to show you in Wwise is actually pretty easy, but of course with every system like this you have to take in considerations what are the needs for your game and does it fit and all that. So I'm just gonna walk you through my thought process for this example. Okay, perfect. So going back to that rhythm problem, we inhale and exhale, and that happens in a rhythm. Well, as we get more exhausted, the rate of our inhaling and exhaling of course also increases. This of course presents a problem because if you want to switch from a loop of, let's say, a medium exhaustion to a higher exhaustion, you want to know that they will not interfere over each other and we will not hear an inhale over an exhale, let's say, or we will hear an inhale after another inhale that will completely throw us off. My solution to that was to use the playlist container. But we have a compromise. Using the playlist container, we cannot go back to a previous state. If you want to have a system that switches between exhaustion states, you can try to have a switch container that has multiple random containers on continuous mode, so then they become playlist containers, and they have the transition to sample accurate. But to give you a heads up, for me that system didn't work, so you'll have to experiment with it. And so let's get back to my solution. So as I told you, the setup is actually pretty simple. We have the Breathe Master playlist container, and here we just have silence at the beginning. Why is that? Because we want to press play and then we want 10 seconds of just complete silence. But looking back at this, I think it would have been a lot better just to have the delay in the play event, or to have a coroutine in Unity. Then we have breathing 1, which is like low level exhaustion, and it's a random container because I have multiple samples. We don't want to hear the same repetition and same breathing all the time. So low intensity, then mid intensity, and then the high intensity loops forever. So you can run forever and it will loop forever, but of course that will get boring pretty fast. So in addition to that, just to make things a little bit more interesting, I have a blend container that has also the heartbeat. So the heartbeat also starts after you run for a while, and I'm going to demonstrate that in the game as well, of course. But let's take a look at the blend track and how that is set up. So we have an RTPC, and this effort RTPC, of course, it helps a lot because we get that volume ramp, and also it switches between two samples. One is more of a higher tempo and the other one is like lower tempo. And how do we all tie this up if we don't get to mid-level exhaustion? So we don't want to have that weird, okay, I'm running for like 10 minutes and then I stop and nothing happens. I don't go back to the mid-level exhaustion. So my solution to that was to have an exhale. We have 2 exhales, but of course you can have many more, and also you can have many more intensity levels. But for this project, in which the exhaustion system was not that important, I didn't invest that much in it because I wanted to keep things simple and also be able to have this nice foundation for maybe future projects. Okay, so the exhales works in a way that if you're at mid-level intensity, you're gonna have a shorter exhale. So if you're at the mid-intensity level, you'll hear like a shorter exhale. And that is my Grammy-winning vocal performance. And if you get to a higher intensity level of exhaustion, then you have this one. Super, that is pretty much it in Wwise, and now let's just jump in Unity and see how that is set up through code and how it actually works in the game. Okay, we're in Unity, and luckily this one is easy as well. So we're in the first person control script. This script is provided by Unity, so everybody has access to it. And we have this start exhaustion function. Cool. So what do we need? Well, we want to know if we are running, and we want to know for how long we've been running. Okay, so this is running variable. It's a bool variable, and I think it's up there somewhere. But basically, if the move speed is over 6, which is the move speed of the running, then we are running. Okay, so then all we have to do is get a number. So the exhaustion is time.delta time, so the time that has passed since we started running. In my case, I multiplied that by 4 to start the exhaustion loop faster. Then I converted that to an integer because I wanted it for the RTPC to be an integer. And if we're not playing the exhaustion, then of course we can play the exhaustion sound. That is the post game object. So we post the event from Wise, we post it on the player, and is playing exhaustion equals true. And with the else statement, we check if our exhaustion level is over a set amount. So we get that if we are not running, but we've been running before. Okay, and how do we do that? When do we know when to play it? Well, it's actually pretty simple because if we started the exhaustion, then we know that we got to a level. And if that level is over 100, then we play the longer one. And if it's over 40, we play the second one, the shorter one. And at the end, we just reset everything. So we can start the loop again. Okay, so that is the function, but we have to call the function somewhere. So we go back to update. So every frame, we check that the dialog queue, this is again regarding a specific thing regarding the game. So we don't care about this one. You will just start the exhaustion function in the update. Okay, we set the RTPC values for the effort, and you see that it has the int variable. And that's it with the script. And now we can actually test it in game and see how it turned out. Okay guys, so this was my exhaustion system. I hope you learned something new and I hope you can use this in your own game. And if you have a better idea of how to do this, please just leave a comment below. Maybe you have the documentation, maybe you have your own video. Let's just build this community up. Okay, thank you very much for watching. See you later.